9:21 on this morning, and it's time to continue with the program. And as we said, this program is going live out on the broadcast waves of One Nation FM in Polokwane, as well as Al Ansar in Durban and Pietermaritzburg, and the broadcast waves of Salam Media on the satellite and online platforms. And not forgetting on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Salam Media, as well as on our YouTube channel. I'm joined now online by Zahid Fakir of the Muslims for Humanity, and they are hosting a webinar that will include none other than Professor Salim Abdul Karim, the chairperson of the COVID-19 Ministerial Advisory Committee. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Zahid, and welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam, brother Azhar. Jazakallah for having us on the program.
Excellent stuff. So, Muslims for Humanity is hosting this particular webinar. What is the reason behind it, and why are you doing this?
Alhamdulillah, brother Azhar. I think we had an interview some 2 months ago. We were about 2 months old now, and one of the fundamental elements for Muslims for Humanity is to actually provide support, advisory, and advocacy to all stakeholders to bring the best out in humanity. We sat down as an exco and actually realized that COVID has really changed our lives, and in the last 2 weeks we saw a rampant increase in the number of COVID infections, and we thought it would be best suited for all our participants and all the people out there, the public, to actually get a perspective, none other than Professor Salim Abdul Karim, in terms of what's happening on the ground. I mean, we have different perspectives. We said, let's get the professional out there to actually address us. And inshallah, it'll give us an insight in terms of information that's required by the general public, and more importantly, humanitarians and donors out there, in terms of what the impact is with regards to COVID-19 to the general public out there in South Africa.
I see that you're also going to be having a question and answer session that's facilitated by Dr. Ashraf Musa.
Yes.
And I think it's very important, like you say, because it will allow you to probe and get the type of information, the necessary information that affects the particular sector of the community. How do you view the Q&A and the importance and the role of that?
I think the importance of the Q&A is that we are kind of exposed to a lot of social media, differing views with regards to what's happening on the ground. Some of us are blasé about the whole issue. Some of us are very serious and very, very negative about the whole issue. I think the Q&A set the facts straight in terms of what's happening, what precautions we need to take, and how it will impact us, not only through our health, but also through the social ills that will come with the impact of this pandemic now, as we see it, and into the future. What has happened in the past gives us an indication of the impact, but what's to come is actually greater in terms of what we're seeing in the South African context.
In the 2 months that Muslims for Humanity have now been in existence, bringing together like-minded NGOs, business entities, what impact have you already noticed from COVID-19 and the change that it has brought about in the operations?
So from our perspective, we as we mentioned in our last interview, we're not another NGO, but a support to NGOs out there. We have been disseminating information on a one-on-one basis across our donor stakeholder base and across our NGO stakeholder base. And the reality has kicked in. We've seen a lot of impact in the last 2 months. Our donors have actually come to realize that, this is not going to end. We're in it for the long haul, and we need to actually see how best we can support the NGOs to be effective on delivery on the ground. Aside from actually the interaction, we've been doing internal research and analysis, and hence what we're actually putting forward tomorrow is a culmination of some of the insights that we've actually kind of come about from an EXCO perspective. And we said that we are best positioned now to go on a broader platform to share our research and analysis to the best with Professor Salim Abdul Karim, and also with Dr. Ashraf Musa, who has recently actually taken the platform in terms of really sharing the reality of what's going on the ground with regards to COVID-19 in our communities.
Sometimes it takes somebody from the outside that looks at an industry and is able to pick up shortfalls, challenges, potential threats that are existing. And COVID-19 has provided all of that to NGOs. But yourself from the outside, now coming through as an assistant or mentor group of experienced individuals to the NGO sector. What are some of the challenges that or pitfalls that you can warn NGOs about, or changes in strategy that they can implement in order to improve their means of delivery?
I think the fundamental is around sharing and collaboration and avoiding duplication. The amount of resources that are being utilized at the moment because of the impact of COVID-19 is humongous. We need to actually work together to actually provide humanitarian aid out there, but not duplicate the effort. Otherwise, we're not going to reach the masses out there. The middle class are being impacted as we speak. And the middle class will actually go down to the poverty line very soon. So the masses that we will have to actually provide humanitarian aid to is increasing on a daily basis. So it's really about sharing and collaborating. Alhamdulillah, Azhar, we in the last 2 months, we've been engaging with a lot of donors, a lot of NGOs, and it's very enlightening and it's very encouraging to see that the NGOs are actually wanting to share and collaborate. They're all on the same page because they realize the magnitude of the impact of the pandemic on our communities.
Coming back to the webinar that you are hosting now, insights into the COVID-19 pandemic and how it affects us South Africans. Your guest speaker is going to be Professor Salim Abdul Karim. What are the details? How can people log into it? Is it open to the public? And when is it taking place?
Alhamdulillah, it's going to be this Saturday, tomorrow, 4th of July at 11 a.m. We're hosting it via Zoom. Obviously, there is a capacity restraint with regards to how many participants can register on Zoom. That's 500. We're almost fully subscribed. Alhamdulillah, what has also happened is radio stations like yourself, Al Ansar, CII, Radio 76, Radio Islam, have at this point in time agreed to broadcast it parallel with the Zoom webinar. So if people are unable to register on Zoom, they can actually listen to these various radio stations that they are familiar with. If you want to be part of the webinar, you can drop an email to info@muslimsforhumanity.org.za. That's info@muslimsforhumanity.org.za. We will send you a link to the webinar. And if you want the direct meeting ID for Zoom, I'm just going to give it out to the audience. The meeting ID is 895-2671-8657. And the password is 742824. All right. So inshallah, try to register for the webinar. If you don't actually, if you fully subscribe, listen to the various radio stations that I've mentioned. Again, that will be Radio Salam Media, Al Ansar, CII, Radio 76, Radio Islam at this point in time. Inshallah, there will be more, some of the television channels that are coming on board. We're just waiting for confirmation on that. But we're trying to reach as many as possible. We are close to 400 on the Zoom webinar registration. I think after your kind gesture of allowing us to be on Islam Media, we'll be fully subscribed today, but don't despair. You guys can listen to it live on the various radio stations that I've mentioned.
Zaid Fakir, Jazakallah for your time this morning. Appreciate the wonderful gesture and for assisting getting our community and the sector and business people and everybody informed about the realities of COVID-19. You go well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam, my brother. Azhar, Jazakallah once again to Islam Media for having us on here. Jumu'ah Mubarak.